Hello, this is Dr. Marisa Snyder, and I am jumping on. We just got word about a couple of minutes ago that the state of California, which is where I live right now, we are being asked to stay home. And I realize there's like 60 million of us here in this state, and I don't know what other states this is going to become in an implementation. But what I do know is over the last couple of weeks, it has felt very uncertain and a little bit scary. And I wanted to share a little bit about stress and how we can overcome panic, how we can overcome stress and get back to a state of equilibrium when we are in a state of unknown. Now, I have personally experienced a little bit of stress these last couple of days, even this last week, so I know. And if you have connected in with me on the podcast or in my books or here on Facebook and Instagram, you would know that stress has been a thing that I have rode the line for many years, and I immediately know what it feels like. Now, the reason why I am concerned about stress is that I know that stress can hijack our immune system and actually shut down our lymphocytes, our white blood cells, our macrophage, our natural killer cells. And at this time, right now, one, I know that you don't want to feel stressed. I know that you don't want to feel panicked. I know that you want to be a beacon of light for the family that matters to you. But also, I know that you want to keep your immune system up. So I wanted to share a little bit about how we can reduce stress at a time where it feels like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what's going on and how am I going to manage a stress level and da-da-da-da-da, right? Now, the reason why we're experiencing stress is that your brain is trying its best to manage a survival threat. It thinks that this circumstance, this world, this moment that we're in is very threatening. And your brain is doing the number one thing it knows how to do, it's protect you. And so it sends off a cascade of stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol and norepinephrine and epinephrine to manage the threat at hand. The only concern around that is when we have perceived stress or consistent perceived stress, like we go into a stress state multiple times a day, we began to create loops. We began to create neuroplasticity, which is the brain continuing to think that we're always in a threat and continuing to send those neurotransmitters and hormones out into the system. Now, when our stress levels are super high, what happens with those neurotransmitters and those hormones is that we shut down our digestive system, we shut down the immune system, we even shut down the reproductive system, and we start cracking the whip on the cardiovascular system, on the respiratory system, even our thyroid and our metabolic hormones. So it's important that we can get a hold of this and be able to manage this with ease and grace so that we are kind of calming down that central nervous system, that stress response that could be getting us in trouble over time. Like it can begin to wear on our energy levels, it can begin to wear on our brain function, it can begin to wear on our reproductive hormones, our metabolism. It can even force us to start putting on visceral belly fat because your body is in storage survival mode. Okay, so now that we know why stress is a concern, and if you were wondering, what does it have to do with me? I wanted to paint that picture for you real quick. So how do we begin to combat it, right? How do we even know? Well, here are some telltale signs in your physiology that stress may be coming up for you. You find yourself talking faster. Your palms are getting sweaty. You feel yourself getting warm and flushed. Your heart is racing. You get a little snippy snappy. Maybe you snap back at somebody or you're feeling reactive, right? These are all physiological responses that we're in a stress state. You're also reactive, right? You're making decisions really fast because you think that you need to make those decisions very quickly. All of a sudden you're getting cravings. You find yourself not going to sleep at night and you're racing around saying things like, I don't have time, I've got too much going on, I don't know what's happening, I'm really tired, I'm super stressed, I feel overwhelmed, I am busy. Any of that languaging, that tells me that you're probably in a stress state, right? And again, in these circumstances, it's gonna happen. I can't imagine there's somebody who isn't feeling a little bit stressed in those moments. So how do we manage this? Number one, it's becoming aware. Self-awareness is the name of the game here. When we know and we recognize those physiological clues, we can refocus the body. We can refocus our physiology. And we can do that through deep breaths. We can do that through a technique I'm going to show you in just a second. We can do that through walking around, walking outside, getting fresh air, getting sunshine, basically distracting our brain, distracting that stranger danger. It's a threat. brain signal that's being sent out from the limbic system and the amygdala to calm things down. Now, I recognize that that's a practice. It's not easy to be like, oh, I'm feeling stressed right now. Let me go and fix that. So what I recommend doing is grabbing your phone. So grab a phone. Both of my phones are being used right now. So grab a little phone and set a chime on your phone on the hour. Because believe it or not, we are sometimes in a stress state whether we know it or not. And your brain can become addicted to stress. It can leverage stress on your behalf, which ends up becoming detrimental. So a way to break the pattern is have a little, like a yoga chime or a raindrop chime, something really calming that goes off every hour, not an alarm. We don't want to send you into sympathetic nervous system dominance, right? Where your brain is like emergency. So something really light. And in that 5 minutes when that little chime goes off every hour, I want you to grab a couple essential oils. I want you to grab a lavender essential oil or a bergamot essential oil or a citrus essential oil. And I want you to put them into your palms, like 1 drop each, or maybe just 1 drop of lavender. And they're super inexpensive, definitely worth getting right now if you don't have an essential oil. And I want you to take that oil, rub it all into your palms and wrists, and take a deep, deep belly breath. So I'm gonna show you a technique called the power of the pause. It will literally reset your tracks from stress system to relaxed system in a matter of seconds. So with that lavender oil, breathe it in, hold it up on the inhale at 5 seconds, hold it for 5, and then breathe all the way out. And at the exhale, hold for 5 seconds. And then breathe in, and then hold it, and then breathe out. And with that strategy, that technique, you can literally get your central nervous system back in control. You can switch tracks from feeling panicked and fearful and concerned and worried to relaxed and telling the brain that everything is okay. Now, other things that you can do is make sure that you are doing some beautiful self-care. What you want to be doing these next couple of weeks or even month, or really anytime you're feeling stressed, is send your brain safety signals. Safety signals can come from gratitude journaling. It can come from a glass of chamomile tea. It can come from meditation. It can come from using your oils and that technique that I just showed you. It can come from speed dialing your bestie. It can come from hugging people and boosting oxytocin levels. So if you can build in little self-care and ways in which you're loving your body every day, you send beautiful safety signals to the brain that says everything is good. We are okay. We are cool. Our bodies don't need to go into a stress state right now. And that allows your immune system to function. It allows your reproductive system to function. And it allows your digestive system to function, which are so key right now when it comes to loving up on your body. So I hope that these strategies are helpful. I know that you're feeling stressed. I know that you're feeling a little overwhelmed, but let's make sure that we're loving and honoring our body in the process. And there's no reason why we can't shift the way that we're feeling and shift our physiology even during times of adversity. It's how we show up in these moments that really define who we are and define how we show up for other people. So I hope that this little video is helpful as things are rapidly changing. You know, I love you guys, and I'm going to continue to provide a lot of resources to come. I hope this little one is just one that you can put in your arsenal, something that you can share with a friend, and that you can have in your back pocket whenever you need it. All right, I'll see you guys very, very soon. Mwah, have a wonderful night. Bye.